honestly, the two funniest guys that I know anything about, Sam and Son, the Geezinslaw brothers. Here they are.
He wants to sing Big Bad John.
Sally used to carry me home from school. Sally was a big old girl. She wasn't very dainty, she looked like a mule. Sally was a good old girl. We put her picture down in the barn. Pigs isn't happy and the cows is forlorn. Boy, do the rats stay away from the corn. Sally was a good old girl. Well, Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. Well, she gave it her best. Sally was a good old girl. Her folks was poor, they didn't have a pot. Sally was a good old girl. They lived upstairs over a vacant lot. Sally was a good old girl. I once had a dog that was faithful and true. A gentle creature no one ever knew. He caught the rabies when he looked at you. Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. No matter what the request, she gave it her best. Sally was a good old girl.
Notice that key change?
She was just another one of the six. Sally was a good old girl. She got interested in politics. Sally was a good old girl. She read all the papers every day. She was a frustrated Democrat, so they say. She went all the way with the LBJ. Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. No matter what the request, she gave it her best. Sally was a good old girl. Well, Sally was a good old girl. Sally was a good old girl. No matter what the request, she gave it her best. Sally was a good old girl.
Thank y'all very much. It is a pleasure. I'll guarantee you this. It is just uncommonly nice for me and Son to be working here tonight at the Hemisfair. For me and Son, it's uncommonly nice to be working anywhere. Sure. I called Son, and I noticed a look of inquisiment coming over the audience. Because some of the ladies said, could that young-looking rascal be his father? Ladies, you was right. He ain't really my son. He got the name. Is that you, Rachel? Oh, Swan from Snook, Texas, in the audience, the songbird of the South. Goodness gracious. No, he got the name. We was in Georgia for 2 weeks. Is any of y'all from Georgia? Are you really? We had a bulletin from Augusta today that 200 members of the Ku Klux Klan died. Goldstein's department store sold in plastic bags instead of sheets. But we was there in Atlanta for 2 weeks, and we had a good time in Georgia. In fact, that's where Son got the name. He went with this girl, and at the time, this girl's father called him Son. And tell you the truth, we thought it was a very complimentary Southern term. And later on, we found out it was an abbreviation. And it just sort of stuck. And it was hard on Son anyway, because he feels a little bit insecure. When he was a kid, they used to talk him into playing hide-and-go-seek, and then he wouldn't go look for him. When he was 6 months old, our mother rocked him all the time, and she used big rocks. And that was awful. At the tender age of 3, he swallowed a bullet. And Mother rang the doctor and said, what in the world can I do? She said, my 3-year-old kid has swallowed a bullet. And the doctor said I'd give him some castor oil and don't aim him at nobody. Oh, he's had a hard life. I tell you what, nothing has went right for son. With the first day in school, he walked in school and he asked the teacher, he said, what should I do if I have to go to the bathroom? And she said, hold your hand up. And he said, what good would that do? Think of that a minute. Then it happened, the third period. He had to go. And he held his little hand up. And the teacher's busy, you know. She saw him, and she looked back 30 minutes later, and she said, son, you can go now. And he said, I don't have to go now. But son's wife is here tonight with him, his wife, Sue. In fact, her name ain't really Sue. But that's what her father said he would do if they didn't get married. And son didn't want to rush into marriage because Sue is a little skinny. And I say skinny, I mean skinny. Guys grab her by the ankle and make wishes, you know. Really? And son wouldn't have minded that. But she takes care of the business at home. And she got the phone bill and paid the zip code. It like it broke son, didn't it, son? I say, didn't it, son? Son said it did. Have you girls been to the restroom? Could y'all hear us when y'all was in there? We heard y'all. I tell you what, you're on record, too. Is there any other Baptist here in the audience besides me? The reason I asked that, because when the kid hollered, it took points away from this area. We give a prize to the best area. And he just got 10 points for his role, see? Yeah. And the prize comes in the form of an alcoholic beverage. For the Baptist that is here, and for y'all that ain't, we should explain that us Baptists don't drink in public. It's true. We have more than I thought. Being a Baptist don't keep you from sinning, but it sure keeps you from enjoying it like you should. But the prize we're going to give away, as I say, is in the form of a drink for y'all that do indulge. And son will take a nip on certain occasions, won't you, son? He said he would. He'll take a little snort. He was driving a Volkswagen this afternoon, and they nice, the little cars, but they small, and he's a little nervous anyway, and he signaled for a left turn and ruptured a cop. Got him right in the intersection. But anyway, the drink that we're going to give away for the best area, and I hope y'all going to like it, what it is a combination of milk of magnesia and vodka. And it's called a Phillips screwdriver. They're real popular up north around Christmas time. Talk about dashing through the snow. We saw a guy, we was in New York, and this guy walked in, and he had been taken drunk. That's what it was. No, really, he had. And he walked into the bar, and he walked up to the bartender, and he said, and the bartender said, "Get out of here, please. You're drunk, and we cannot serve you." And the guy walked out and went to the bar next door and walked up to the bartender over there and said, and the bartender said, "Get out of here. We can't serve you. You loaded." And the guy was leaving the place, and as he was leaving, he met a guy crawling in. And this guy crawled up to the bar, reached up there and kind of chinned up and said, "Whiskey." And the bartender poured him a drink. And the first drunk got to thinking. He said, "What's wrong with me? I've been walking around mumbling and couldn't even get me one little old snort." And he walked right back up to the bar, and he said to the bartender, "Whiskey." And the bartender said, "You want it straight or on the rocks?" And he said, "No, no, 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 no." How you like it so far, son? Son says he's having a barrel of fun. Really? Oh, he's good, I'll swear. His son invented a fly spray that actually didn't kill flies, but it got him to feeling so romantic you could always swat two of them at a time. Our mother wrote from Snook, Texas, where we from, and y'all have been to Snook, have you? If you hadn't been there, well, you've got to be going there to get there, because it ain't on the way to no place. And it's 2 miles south of resumed speed. And it ain't real hip. We don't even have a town drunk. We have to take turns. We have the late show at 6:15, and it's like that. One guy, Square, took LSD and heard Lawrence Welk. One hippie. Y'all take it? She said, "I didn't hear Lawrence Welk." No, we had one hippie that came through, and he was a nice hippie, I'll say this. He was he was more of a non-controversial hippie. He had a blank sign and a Crayola, and he would just join anything, he didn't care. And he was like, he had long hair and an ear bob on, and he was going down the street with one shoe. And the sheriff said, "Hey, buddy, I hate to bother you, but did you lose a shoe?" And he said, "No, man, I found one." But he was good-natured. Here's a man, our neighbor, barbecuing a chicken. Got the chicken on the spit, and it's going around. And the hippie's walking by and looks over the fence and said, "Man, I hate to bother you, but your organ ain't making no music and your monkey's burning up." Y'all the best I ever saw. And the people in Snook, we used to on TV and things, we made jokes about Snook. Like we'd say, they had to widen Main Street to put the white stripe down it. And they didn't like that. Because they said, "We're moving up in the world. We're getting our Edsel dealership next month." And the farmers around Snook got together, and they built statues of me and son out of alfalfa. And they reaped us in effigy. This actually is a very sad song. It's a song about a boy named Joe Bean. And the sadness of it is, they're going to hang Joe Bean for killing a man in Arkansas. And what makes it so sad, Joe Bean ain't never been to Arkansas. And to add sadness to that, he didn't even know the guy that he is supposed to have murdered. And to heap tragedy upon all this sadness, the day they're going to hang him is Joe Bean's 20th birthday. See where the gallows stand, Joe Bean. See where the gallows stand. Just 20 short years from the day you were born. You'll die by the hangman's hand.
They're hanging Joe Bean this morning for shooting he never did. He killed 20 men by the time he was 10. He was an unruly kid. But they're hanging Joe Bean for the one shooting that he never did.
See the cold prison bars, Joe Bean. See where the gallows stand. Just 20 short years from the day you were born. You'll die by the hangman's hand. Well, his mother was right there in Capital City, and she was asking Governor Sims for a stay, 'cause it was real hard on her, 'cause she knows where you were on that particular day. While you was working, Joe Bean, hard working, robbing the Santa Fe.
The telegraph wires are humming. Hear the governor's words coming through. I can't set you free 'cause it's not up to me, but this much, Joe Bean, I'll do. I'll join your mother in extending birthday greetings to you.
Happy birthday, Joe Bean. Happy birthday, Joe Bean. Happy birthday, dear Joey. Happy birthday to you. Oh, goodness gracious, I wish we was... You say you was. That man said he was going around the corner going 90 miles an hour. I'll tell you what we'll do. Just for you, we'll sing a little bit of that. We wasn't planning on it, but to show you what good guys we are. The title of the song is actually called My Girl Lives South of the Border, but last night she came across. I was going around the corner, going 90 miles an hour when the chain on my bicycle broke. I was skiing all over from the rocks and the gravel and punctured to death by the spokes. You've heard of accidents and hot rods and motorcycles and airplanes, but the accident I had will take the cake. My foot slipped off the pedal, my toe caught in the chain, therefore I couldn't even hit the brakes. Look, get this picking. Chain on my bicycle broke. I was thrown in the grass with a sprocket in my pocket and punctured to death by the spoke. When Jimmy asked us to do something serious, we thought and thought and thought and said, where could we go to find the proper love ballad? 2 weeks we spent in Mexico and picked several things up. But no, postcards and things, you know, souvenirs. Yeah, and if we didn't decide on this beautiful thing from Lerner and Loewe's production of My Fair Lady, a very dramatic thing. If the lights will now dim, please, and I will start it out with my intro. See, it's getting dramatic already. I started out like this. The beautiful song of the pregnant ballerina. entitled, I Should Have Danced All Night. Now, as dramatic grows, and dramatic does grow because it gets dramaticer and dramaticer as it grows. When I finish this last little part of the intro, it may astound you. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to any county fairs or box suppers, but this is something that will overcome even them. When I finish this intro, son is going to leap over to this microphone and he is going to burst forth in glorious song. Ain't you, son? He said he was.
I've often walked down this street before.
That wasn't quite as glorious as we had expected there, son. Nothing personal, but if you could try to get a little more impact in it on this time there.
And the sidewalks always stood beneath my feet before.
Think about it, son. You can do it. We're all depending on it.
All at once am I several stories high. High, 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 high.
Son said hi.
Knowing I'm
Now
on the street.
Perfect on key. It's going to come out glorious, and Mother will love you for this.
Where you live.
Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live at. And just to know somehow you're near. The overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. Take it! When I said take it, I meant for you to finish the song out, son.
People stop and stare, they don't bother me, for there's no words else on earth that I had rather be.
You're about to get it.
Let the time go by, don't care if I knew you could. Can be here on the street where you live at. Can be here on the street where you live.
Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much. God bless you. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, we're glad to have y'all here from Snook, Texas. From our hometown of Snook. We flew in from Snook, and it's a little scary flying in from Snook. It worried us a little bit when the airplane stopped and asked for $1 worth of gas. You know, that regular he wanted. And in the airport, there wasn't none of them insurance machines. There was a bookie that give you 8 to 5, you wouldn't make it, you know? And as I say, Son's a little nervous anyway, and Son has been trying. If you notice, Son's got him a new haircut. We was in Hollywood, in California, and he went to one of them hairstyle people, and they done that. At first, you notice now his part comes from the back to the front. But he wanted to be an individualist. And he got this new hairstyle where his hair parted from his left ear over to his right ear, see? And it combed down in front and back. And it worked out good till people started whispering in his nose. And it was terrible. You crazy little bugger, you. Oh, y'all are good. Golly, I can't hardly believe it. What would y'all like to do? We didn't have nothing planned. We just thought of it. You know what I think we'll do is this. We did a record before, and the record we made was going to be a 45, and somehow or another they made a mistake, and they recorded it at 319 RPM, which is pretty fast, and people couldn't hear it. Dogs loved it, but they don't buy a lot of records. Son had a dog. Son had a poodle. And for a boy that lives on a farm, it's a little strange, you know, to have a poodle. And his little poodle was walking around the neighborhood one day, and he walked up to one of these big old dogs, and his poodle looked up and said, "Hi, I'm a poodle. My name's Fifi. What's your name?" And the big old dog said, "I'm not sure. I think it's Down Boy." But I thought we should burst into this song because we want y'all to join in if you feel like it. When we come to the part, I'll give you the signal and y'all join right in. Since we're all going to do this record together, we want you to really feel a part of it, and we will have togetherness. Right, Son? Are you ready to burst into this arrangement, Son? Son says he is ready to burst.
I drew a mustache on your picture, threw your ring away. I wrote you a letter, but I couldn't spell yuck. And that's all I got to say. And that's all I got to say.
Feel free to yuck right along now.
When I found out you was untrue, not a minute did I delay. I wrote you a letter, but I couldn't spell. And that's all I got to say.
You ad lib.
That's all I got to say. We even went to where we used to go, outside of town. Found the tree where we carved our name, chopped the dang thing down. Burnt the tie you gave me, I never did dig it much anyway. I wrote you a letter, but I couldn't spell yeah. That's all I got to say.
Beautiful.
And that's all I got to say.
Oh, y'all did good. Boy, y'all are good yuckers. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. A psychiatrist told me this, which it surprised me in one way, and it kind of relieved me considering Son. He told me that 25% of all adult Americans are a little bit demented. Can you believe that? 1 out of 4 of all adults in America are a shade off. 1 out of 4 of everybody in this beautiful auditorium tonight, friends, is a little touched. And if you don't believe it, put yourself to this simple test. Think of 3 of your closest friends. They all 3 seem all right to you all the time. If they do, you're the one. Something to think about for that, ain't it, son? And our grandfather, bless his heart, 94 years old, got on the phone, and he said to me, he said, Sammy, He said, could you get me some of that stuff that they put in them soldiers' food when they first get into the Army? And I said, Grandpa, you 94 years old, and they put that in them boys' food to keep them from chasing girls. And he said, I didn't want a whole lot. Yes. He said, that's a fact. He said, yeah. He said, could you just get me enough to sniff up my nose and get the ideas out of my head? Then we all chipped in. We sent in money, me and son, into Snook. Pay attention, son. Look to the front. It looks more professional. We chipped in for this big sign. Here it was, high above the church house there in Snook, a big neon sign. Big letter says, if you're tired of sin, come on in. And some lady wrote underneath in lipstick, if you're not, phone 382-6. And the preacher was beside himself. The preacher got carried away, and I swear he got to leaping up and down during the sermon. Remember that, son? Son said he remembers that. And he got to leaping. Yeah, you playful little thing, you. He's a barrel of fun at a party. He can just walk into the room and everything gets dull. The preacher got upset about the sign, and he got to jumping up and down during the sermon, and I mean a whole wave of emotion just swept over the whole congregation. And this one lady sitting up in the balcony, up there where the $2 seats are here. This lady in the balcony got swept up by the whole thing, and she leaped up to shout. And when she did, she leaped a little too high and fell over the edge of the balcony. And at the last second, she grabbed a hold of a chandelier. And there she was, dangling on that chandelier, high above the congregation of the whole Snook Baptist Church. And the preacher said, the first man that looks up is going to be struck blind. And you see, one little guy in the back row said, I believe I'll take a chance on my left eye. I'm sorry, Jimmy said he did say that he wanted us to do something because he's from Plainview, Texas. And if any of y'all have ever been to Plainview, you'll have to agree that is a very plain view. No, really, he wanted us to do this poem, and I think that the poem he wanted was one that I start. Keep your hand off there, son. I start the poem off, and then son will come in. If you feel like coming in, son. Mary had a little lamb.
His fleece was white as snow.
And everywhere that Mary went,
the lamb was sure to go.
It followed her to school one day.
And a big yellow dog killed it.
That was the poem that he had in mind, actually, because them things are kind of sick and they shock a lot of people. Really, they do. You know, like, knock, knock, who's there? It's the Boston Strangler. Mary, it's for you. You know, we shouldn't do this. This is a poem that he wanted to hear, a very serious poem about a little boy named Shelley. And it goes like this. Shelley's folks took a vacation to the heart of our great nation. Yes, they took son Shelley down to Washington. Well, at the Capitol, while lining up to do some guest book signing, they was next in line behind this little nun. Well, Shelley, he got restless, waiting there to sign the guest list, and he pushed the nun aside, which wasn't nice. And Shelley's ma, she yanked him and walloped him and spanked him, all the while giving Shelley this advice. Wait till the nun signs, Shelley, when will you begin to learn? Wait